The stadium fell silent. Not the respectful silence of a tennis crowd awaiting a serve, but the hollow silence of emptiness. The silence of thousands of empty seats where just days before, a sea of Philippine flags had waved proudly. The silence of a tournament that had lost its beating heart. When Alex Eala walked off the court in Toronto after her defeat to Belinda Bencic, she didn't just take her racket with her. She took the soul of the National Bank Open. The numbers told a devastating story. Approximately 3,100 tickets sold within 30 minutes of Eala's match being announced. A frenzy that tournament director Karl Hale called unprecedented for a player outside the top five. A sold-out crowd of 12,500 packed Sobeys Stadium for her matches. A tournament that had found its voice, its energy, its reason for being. And then, she was gone. Now, the finals are upon us. But the question haunting every tennis fan is no longer who will win. It's something far more troubling. Without Alex Eala, will anyone even care? Without the roar of the Filipino crowd, without the flags, without the electric atmosphere that transformed a tennis tournament into a celebration of community and national pride, what is left? This is not just a story about tennis. This is a story about what happens when a phenomenon walks away, when the star that lit up the tournament fades, when the fans who turned a sport into a movement are left with nothing but empty seats and shattered dreams. Welcome to RallyNova. Let's begin. To understand the backlash, we must first understand what Alex Eala brought to Toronto. It wasn't just tennis. It was a movement, a celebration, a cultural phenomenon that the National Bank Open had never seen before. The moment Eala's second-round match was announced, tickets vanished. In just 30 minutes, seats sold out, and an additional 3,100 tickets were snapped up for that session alone. Tournament director Karl Hale, a veteran of the tennis world, admitted he had never seen a player ranked outside the top five have this type of effect. Sobeys Stadium transformed. Where once there were polite tennis spectators, now there was a sea of Philippine flags, banners, and fans draped in the country's colors. The 10,000-plus capacity crowd turned the tournament into what felt like a home match for the 21-year-old Filipina. The energy was so intense that Canadian play-by-play commentator Mark Petchey compared it to the atmosphere of a Grand Slam victory. But it wasn't just the numbers. It was the noise, the passion, the unapologetic celebration of a community finally seeing one of their own on the biggest stage. Diane Castillo, a traveling Filipino journalist, described it as a super wild Filipino crowd. The loudest I have ever heard. It felt like it was in the Philippines, and the players noticed. Leila Fernandez, whose mother is Filipino-Canadian, praised the community's unwavering support. Jessica Pagula, after losing to Eala in Washington, revealed that her podcast gained 4,000 to 5,000 subscribers following the final, a testament to the power of the Filipino fanbase. Even Eala herself, overwhelmed by the love, thanked her kababayan in Tagalog, saying, "Lingo lingo ko keong nakikita, sinusuporta ako, proud na proud akong, maging Pinoy." But with great passion came great controversy. The noise that made Eala feel so at home also sparked a fierce debate about tennis etiquette. Some fans shouted during points, violating the sport's unwritten rule of silence during rallies. Critics argued that the noise disrupted players, while others pushed back, saying tennis needed to evolve and embrace new audiences. One thing was certain. Alex Eala had brought something to Toronto that no ranking or trophy could measure. And when she left, she took it all with her. When Alex Eala fell to Belinda Bencic in the round of 16, the tournament didn't just lose a player. It lost its identity. The match itself was a brutal display of fatigue meeting experience. Bencic, the 2021 Olympic champion, dismantled Eala 6-4, 6-0 in just 73 minutes. The Filipina, who had been running on fumes after 7 consecutive matches across 2 weeks, simply couldn't keep up. Her tank was empty. Her body, having survived a painful ankle roll against Katie McNally in the previous round, had finally given out. But the defeat was more than a sporting loss. It was a turning point. The Eala party, which had turned Sobeys Stadium into a celebration of Filipino pride, came to an abrupt end. The flags that had draped the stands were folded. The chants that had echoed through the arena fell silent. The heart of the tournament had stopped beating, and now the finals loom. But the question on every fan's mind is no longer about who will lift the trophy. It's about whether anyone will be watching. The schedule itself has been a point of contention, with the 12-day format drawing criticism from fans who feel the tournament prioritizes ticket sales over quality matches. But even the scheduling complaints pale in comparison to the void left by Eala's exit. The backlash is massive. Filipino fans, who had traveled from across Canada and the United States to support their hero, are left with empty seats and shattered hopes. The energy that had transformed the tournament into a cultural celebration has evaporated, and the finals, which should be the pinnacle of the event, now feel like a hollow echo of what could have been. Tournament organizers, who had sold out sessions based on Eala's presence, now face the uncomfortable reality. Without her, the crowds have thinned. The excitement has waned. The narrative has shifted from celebration to disappointment. And the question that haunts everyone is, was this tournament ever about tennis? Or was it all about Alex Eala? The controversy surrounding Eala's exit is only half the story. The other half is the debate that her presence ignited, a debate about tennis culture, respect, and who gets to define the sport. From the moment Eala stepped onto the court, her fans brought a new energy to the game. But not everyone welcomed it. Traditionalists criticized the noise, arguing that shouting during points violated tennis etiquette and could distract players. One fan called it disappointing that people were shouting during rallies. Another suggested that signages should be placed in the court to remind fans to just shut the FCK up during a rally or a serve. But the critics missed a crucial point. Many of these fans were attending professional tennis for the first time. They were bringing the celebratory energy of basketball and volleyball, sports deeply embedded in Filipino culture. For them, cheering wasn't disrespect, it was love. It was community. It was showing up for one of their own on the world stage. And the players themselves seemed to understand. Eala embraced the noise, calling it incredible and saying it made her feel at home. Leylah Fernandez described the Filipino fan base as super amazing and noted that they regularly bring flags to her matches and Eala's around the world. Even Bencic, the player who ended Eala's run, acknowledged the crowd's impact, thanking them for the great crowd tonight, even as she silenced them. The debate is bigger than tennis. It's about what the sport wants to become. Will it remain a preserve of quiet, polite spectatorship, or will it embrace the energy and diversity that players like Eala bring? As one fan put it, the atmosphere was the new normal, and the sport needs to evolve as more communities become invested in it. But one thing is certain. The controversy wouldn't have existed without Eala. She didn't just bring fans, she brought a cultural shift. And now that she's gone, the debate feels almost irrelevant. The noise has been replaced by silence, and the sport is left to wonder if the trade-off was worth it. To truly understand the backlash, we have to understand what Alex Eala represents, not just to tennis, but to an entire nation. Before Eala, the Philippines had never produced a top-tier tennis player. The sport belonged to the Europeans, the Americans, the Australians. But Eala changed everything. She left her home at 13 to train at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain. She sacrificed her childhood for a dream. She endured injury, fatigue, and criticism. And she rose to world number 20, the highest ranking ever achieved by a Filipino player. Her Washington title run was legendary. She defeated defending champion Leylah Fernandez, former world number 3 Elina Svitolina, four-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka, and world number 3 Jessica Pegula. The nation of 110 million people celebrated. Senators filed resolutions honoring her. Manny Pacquiao called her our new champion in a social media post. She had become the country's newest, youngest national hero. But with heroism came pressure, the weight of a nation on her shoulders, the expectation to win every match, the exhaustion of playing 7 matches in 2 weeks, the ankle injury that she chose to ignore because her country was counting on her, and finally, the defeat that brought it all crashing down. Eala's loss to Bencic wasn't just a tennis match. It was the end of a dream, for her and for millions of Filipinos. The packed stadiums, the deafening chants, the sea of flags, all of it was a manifestation of a community that had finally found a hero. And when she lost, the dream faded. But even in defeat, Eala showed grace. It's a tough one. Belinda put me in really tough situations. She played really well. But overall, it was really a good week for me, she said after the match. She thanked her fans. She promised to recover and come back stronger. And she revealed the human side of her journey. I need to get a haircut. I haven't gotten a haircut in a while. My nails are grown out. Eala is not just a player. She is a symbol of sacrifice, of resilience, of the power of belief. And her absence from the finals is a loss, not just for tennis, but for everyone who believed in her. The finals are upon us. But the question on everyone's mind is, what happens now? The backlash is real. The fans who pack stadiums for Eala are not likely to return in the same numbers for a final without her. The energy that transformed the tournament into a cultural phenomenon is gone. And the tournament organizers, who reaped the financial rewards of Eala Mania, now face the consequences of her exit. But the bigger question is about the future. What does Eala's rise mean for tennis? And what happens when she returns? Eala's popularity signals a shift in tennis that many have long called for: more diversity. She has brought a new audience to the sport, one that is passionate, vocal, and deeply connected to her journey. But that audience comes with expectations. They expect to see her play. They expect to see her win. And when she doesn't, they may not stay. The tennis establishment must adapt. It must embrace the energy of new fans. It must accommodate the cultural differences that come with a more diverse audience. It must find ways to sustain interest beyond the stars who attract the crowds. Because players like Eala are not just athletes, they're movements. And when the movement ends, the sport must find a way to carry on. For Eala, the future is bright but uncertain. She will compete in Cincinnati, then the U.S. Open. She'll have a chance to recover, recharge, and return stronger. But the pressure will only grow. The nation's expectations will only intensify. And the injury that ended her Toronto run must be managed carefully. Her coach, David McPherson, has warned about the dangers of playing injured. But Eala has shown she is willing to sacrifice for her country. And that sacrifice comes with a price. The question is whether she can learn to balance her love for her nation with the need to protect her career. One thing is certain. The backlash against the finals without Eala is a testament to her impact. She didn't just play tennis, she transformed it. And whether the finals thrive or fail without her, her legacy is already secure.